Okay, so today we're going to go on to area and circumference of circles. A circle is a set of points in a plane that are a fixed distance from the center, from a given point called the center. The radius connects the center to any point on the circle. So if you look at the picture here, the radius goes from the center to the outside. A diameter connects 2 points. So a diameter goes the complete distance across the circle. Make it blue. So like this, that's the diameter. And then here's the radius. And 2 radii, that's the plural form of radius. 2 radii make up a diameter. So if I have this radius and then I make another radius down here, that together would make a straight line, which would be a diameter. Okay? Get rid of all those now. All right. So like it says, the diameter is twice the distance. So 2 radii make up a diameter. The circumference of a circle is the distance around the circle. So it's like this red line. It's all the way going around the circle. That's called the circumference. All right? So the formula for circumference is pi times diameter. Okay, so if you look right here, the formula for circumference of a circle is pi times diameter. It's not letting me circle. Or 2 pi times the radius. All right, now, because pi is an irrational number, we either use 3.14 or we use 22/7. And again, here are those formulas I was talking about. Okay, so let's try one. So it says, find the circumference of each circle in terms of pi and to the nearest tenth. Okay, so we just talked about the formula. The formula is circumference equals pi times diameter. Okay, so in terms of pi, we're just going to plug in. Now, if they give us a radius of 4, that means the diameter is twice the radius. Our diameter is 4 times 2, which is 8. So circumference in terms of pi is just going to be 8 pi. And then, since your meters, meters. You just leave the pi symbol there. Now, if you don't do it in terms of pi, to the nearest tenth, you're going to actually plug in 3.14 for pi. So we're going to do 8 times 3.14, and that's going to give you 25.12. When it says to round to the tenth is 1 decimal place, so you're going to get 25.1 meters. Okay? So you needed 2 answers. One is with the pi symbol and one is without. Okay, so now it wants us to find the circumference of a circle with a diameter of 3.3. Okay, so again, the formula is pi times diameter. So you're going to do pi times 3.3, or you're going to get 3.3 pi, and that's going to be feet. So that's your first answer. And then you're going to do for the second answer 3.14 times 3.3, and when you do 3.14 times 3.3, you get 10.362, which when you round that to 1 decimal place, you're going to get 10.4 feet. Okay? All right. So now we move on to area. The area of a circle is pi times the square of the radius. So the formula is, right here, pi times radius squared. Okay? So again, if you get a diameter, you're going to have to cut that in half to get the radius. All right, so for a radius of 8. So your formula is area equals pi times radius squared. So this says in terms of pi, so your radius is 8, so you're going to have 8 squared pi. 8 squared is 8 times 8, so that is going to be 64 pi, and it's centimeters squared, because remember, area is always units squared. Now, if you want your actual answer, you're going to do 64 times 3.14, and that's going to give me 200.96, which when we round to 1 decimal place is 201.0, and that's also going to be centimeters squared, 201.0. Okay? So now if they give us a diameter, we're going to have to find the radius. So if my diameter is 2.2, that means my radius is half of my diameter, so it's going to be 1.1. That's what you need to use in the formula. Okay? So you're going to have area equals pi times radius squared, so it's going to be 1.1 squared, hold on a that's hard to read. 1.1 squared, the square doesn't want to go on there, pi, and that's going to be feet squared. And then you're going to do 1.1 squared times 3.14, and that is going to give us 3.7994, which when you round to 1 decimal point is going to be 3.8 feet squared. Okay? And we're going to scoot down here. And it says, graph a circle with the center at -2, 1. So you're going to put a dot at -2, 1. And then it says, and goes through 1, 1. Okay, so then that's your this is your radius, and then you can go over 3 spaces, up 3 spaces to get another radius, and across 3 spaces to get another radius, and down 3 spaces to get another radius, and then you make your entire circle. Okay, so they want us to find the area and the circumference. Okay? So, if my radius is 3, because we had 3 units, if your radius is 3, that means your diameter is 3 times 2, which is 6. Okay, so let's do the circumference first. So circumference, and then we're going to do area. Okay, so circumference in terms of pi, remember circumference is pi times diameter, so you're going to have 6 pi, and that would be units, or 6 times 3.14 is going to give me 18.8 units. So these two are your answers for circumference. Now for area, it's pi times radius squared. Okay, so you're going to have, if your radius is 3, so 3 squared pi, which is 9 pi units squared, or 9 times 3.14, which is 28.3 units squared. All right, so now this one you're going to actually have to graph and work on it on your own. So I'm going to turn it off, I'm going to work it out, and I want you to try it on your own since you have an example right here. All right, so they told us to graph -2, 1, which I did. That's the center of the circle, and -2, 5. And when I did that, I realized that the radius, this distance right here, was 4 units. So what I did is I went 4 units to the right and put a dot, 4 units down, put a dot, and 4 units to the left and did a dot, and then I made my circle. Okay, so if my radius is 4, that means my diameter is twice that, which is 8. So for circumference, pi times diameter, first we want to do it in terms of pi. So 8 times pi would be 8 pi units, and then instead of using pi, you plug in the number 3.14. 8 times 3.14 is 25.1. Then for area, the formula is pi r squared. So my radius was 4. 4 squared pi, 4 times 4 is 16, so that's 16 pi units squared. And then to plug in the number instead of the pi symbol, 16 times 3.14 gives you 50.2 units squared, because remember circumference is basic units and area is units squared. Okay, a Ferris wheel has a diameter of 56 feet. Okay, so if you think of a Ferris wheel, that means the distance across is 56 feet and makes 15 revolutions per ride. Okay, so a revolution would be to go around 1 time. Okay, so 15 revolutions means it's going around 15 times, say, on your ride. Okay, how far would someone travel during the ride? Use 22/7 for pi. So instead of using 3.14 like we've been doing, you are going to use 22/7. Now, the distance around the circle is the circumference, so a revolution is the same as circumference. So we're going to do circumference equals pi times diameter. And instead of using the pi number 3.14, they want us to plug in 22/7. So 22/7 times 56, I'm going to make it into a fraction, which would be 56 over 1. This one's nice, you don't even need a calculator. 56 and 7 are both divisible by 7. So you're going to get 22 times 8, which is 176. Now that's to get around once. We're going around 15 times. So you need to then multiply that by 15, and you are traveling 2,640 total feet if you go around the Ferris wheel 15 times. Okay, for the last two on your paper, they're not on here, but I can do them. Letter A says find the radius of each circle, so its circumference equals 12.8 pi centimeters. Okay, so they want us to find the radius. Okay, so circumference is pi times diameter. So therefore, they're saying 12.8 pi, so that means 12.8 is our diameter. Okay, so 12.8 is your diameter. You need the radius, you need to divide that by 2. So 12.8 divided by 2 is going to give you 6.4. So your radius is 6.4 centimeters. Okay, so then for B, they say area equals 16 pi centimeters squared, and again they want you to find the radius. Your formula is area equals pi r squared. Okay, so that means 16 is your radius squared. So the square root, we've been doing square root, so therefore your radius is 4. Okay, so 4 centimeters is the radius. All right, have a good night, and I'll see you tomorrow.